we're fucked. We're fucked. Everyone's dying of infections. And on top of that, we have experienced a very unique time in human history where the birth of the internet has happened while we were adults.
And not too young for us, right?
Right.
Like, so it's
exactly.
like we got to grow up, I hate to say it,
Yeah.
but like normal, right? Like
yeah,
we got
like
to,
normal, like
yeah.
a normal human. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember the answering machine being a big deal. We were like, whoa.
We never had one
someone
at our house.
Call you
Yeah,
and leave a message?
Yeah, no, that was advanced. That was way too advanced.
I think I was in high school when it happened, or somewhere around then. And I remember we got one at my house. I was like, whoa. And you would come home and you'd see like a little light flashing that showed you had a message. I was like, this is crazy.
I remember when
I'm
we
living
got
in the
our
future.
first push phone, like when you didn't have to
yes,
rotary dial
I remember
it.
those.
And I was like, it is so much faster now.
And you don't go crazy. Talk about punching a wall. If you get through all those digits, then you fuck up the last one, like, ah!
Like, I remember hating to call people that had 8s and 9s in their numbers.
Oh, yeah. They took a long time. Yeah. Forget about that. 9s took forever.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. It's so funny. People will never know that. They think it's novel. It's like people who like using typewriters. Oh, I'm an old-timey person. With my fucking whiteout on the paper. The fuck out of here, stupid. I mean, it's kind of amazing. Like, typewriters existed forever, and then all of a sudden there's a word processor. And it like says, didn't you mean this word? And you're like, oh my God, yeah, I did mean that word. Thank you. It's like you barely even, like when I write in Microsoft Word, I am stunned at how often it just like corrects for me. Or I can just hit tab and like I'm halfway into the word and offers a suggestion. Yep, that's it. Yep, that's it. Like I get 4 letters in and it's like suggestion. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, and Gmail does it now for the whole sentence.
Yes, that's wild.
Yeah.
When you get an email and it gives you a potential response, like, oh boy. Meanwhile, the government is like completely reading everything you say. Everything you say. Did you see that Tucker Carlson said that the NSA got into his Signal?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, his Signal app, because he was about to have a conversation with Putin. They were trying to set up a conversation with Putin, and the government called him up. And they're like, hey, we know you're setting up a conversation with Putin. We saw it through your Signal app. And he was like, what? Like, I didn't even fucking know they could do that. That's what he was saying. I assumed they could do that because I had a conversation with Gavin DeBecker, and he essentially said that through Pegasus software, it's Pegasus 2.0. He said Pegasus 1, you needed to click a link, and that's how they got Bezos. That's how... what's the guy's name from Saudi Arabia? Got Bezos.
MBS.
Yeah. But Pegasus 2, they just need your phone number. That's it. Like, all this idea of encryption, like, oh, well, you're using encryption? That shit doesn't mean anything. They can just read whatever they want. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
It's the violation of privacy that's available right now to, by the way, just regular people. Here's the thing about it. Like, who are these people that work for the government? They're people. They're just people that make a decision to just look into other people's stuff. It's not like they're not priests. They're not some monk that spent 10 years meditating on a thought on a mountaintop and they've achieved an extraordinary level of consciousness. No, these are just fucking regular dorks who jerk off in the bathroom on their lunch break, and these guys have access to all your emails. And it's a real problem. It's a real problem that I don't think most people are even available or aware of. It's a giant issue that we experience right now with this whole digital world. And I don't know how much you've fucked with Chat GPT at all.
Quite a bit. I mean, I've been trying to get onto GPT-4 now because I'm told that it's a significant upgrade.
Significant upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was not impressed with Chat GPT on questions that required, like, I'll give you an example. Like, I asked it between Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, and Roberto Duran, explain who you think is the best boxer of that era.
What did it say?
I can't remember, but it was so dumb, Joe, that I was like, this is not a helpful answer. Like, it basically said, well, Tommy Hearns beat Roberto Duran, and like it just basically recited a bunch of facts, but it couldn't come up with anything. I then asked it, this was actually really odd, I said, what was so special about the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix? That's the one where going into the final race, Verstappen and Hamilton were tied even, winner take all for the championship that year. And it was a very controversial ending because of the safety cars. So basically, Lewis is leading, Max is in second, and then with like a few laps to go, who spun out? I think Nicholas Latifi hit the wall, which needed a safety car. And in the process, there's a rule that says every lapped car should be able to unlap itself for the restart, but they only let the cars between Hamilton and Verstappen unlap themselves. So Verstappen had already pitted. He got soft tires.
What is unlap?
So by the end of a race, usually the leaders have actually lapped the back markers of the field.
Mm-hmm.
So unlap means they get to go ahead of the leader to unlap themselves and catch the tail again because the cars are all going so slow under a safety car.
I see.
And anyway, the point is it was super controversial. If not for the way the stewards had interpreted the rule, Hamilton probably would have won the race. But instead, Verstappen won because he was on better tires. So even though he was behind, it was like he smoked Hamilton in the last lap.
So he had newer tires?
He had newer tires.
Had been changed?
Yeah. He had switched his tires at the beginning of that crash. So I asked ChatGPT to sort of tell me what it was. I didn't want to allude to it. I just said, what was special about that race? This is the part that blew my mind. Not only did it not know, it confabulated the whole thing. It literally made up nonsense.